Creators of all kinds! Hello! So in my last video I spoke about exploring lore as in making it up as you go. Though I do believe everyone can do it, I realized that it's not a creative process that comes naturally to everyone. So what do? In that case, I do recommend that you start developing characters and locations first, because this method is gonna work a lot better with that. Creating lore can be such an overwhelming thing to think about when you sit down to do it, mainly because you realize that all the stuff is stuff that you have to think of yourself, and you have to make up all of it yourself.
Unless you're a filthy thief.
Here's what I suggest. Questions. You know those games where you have like a card with like a person or a place and you don't know what it is but you have to guess? Think about the questions that you typically ask. Male or female? Real or fictional? Tall? Short? Smart? Aggressive? Silly? Funny? Weird? The same idea goes for places. Is it warm? Is it cold? Does it rain a lot? Does it have a lot of sun? Why? Why not? Is it deserted or full of people? Trees? Water? Dragons? You should probably ask more questions than this, but when you get the basic stuff down, I suggest that you find your most random friend and you have them ask you questions. Are there any hidden artifacts in the area that are blue? Would the character kiss a stranger to save their dinner from being stolen? What would happen if the area was suddenly just covered in ice? Would your character choose red or blue hair to make an impression? If your character woke up someday and was suddenly green all over, where would they go for dinner? The questions might be silly, but I highly recommend that you take them seriously, because if you actually start to think about it, it's surprisingly how much you can get to know about a person by answering these questions. These are just a few suggestions of questions that you can ask. However, I highly recommend that you go on Google and you Google like questions to get to know somebody. By using questions like this, you get to be creative and you get to explore and you get to kind of find stuff and figure stuff out about your characters or your places, and it just puts a lot less pressure on you as someone who needs to figure all this stuff out. Final note, as you keep developing characters or places or whatnot, you will get more familiar with it or them or that. So if there is a question in the beginning that you feel is a bit difficult to answer, like what would your character do in this situation? Those questions can be a bit tricky, so if you find that a bit difficult, just skip it and keep going. And the further down the line you get, the more familiar you're gonna get with the character, and you're gonna get a better feel of how they are, like essentially. When you do that, you can go back and look at the more difficult questions and you'll find them a lot more easy to answer because you now know the character so much better. And with that, I'm gonna take my leave. Developing lore, aka making stuff up, is a lot easier over time. So if it's a bit difficult now, don't worry. It's a creative process and you can't be good at it if you haven't done it a lot. The more it grows, the more familiar you will get with it, and with that, it's gonna be a lot easier to further expand and add stuff and change stuff and so on. In my next video, I'm gonna be talking about time and, you know, time errors, timelines and stuff like that, and hopefully that's gonna be useful for you as well, so please subscribe for that. And yeah, time, lore. Ooh. I wish you good luck and I will see you next time.